Good evening. My name is Jerry White Jr., and I'm your Spokane River Keeper.
And I'm Carrie Herman, Spokane River Keeper board member. We are happy to welcome you to a wonderful evening of stories, art, and a celebration of community connection to your Spokane River. We are gathering here tonight on the traditional lands of the Spokane tribe. Our watershed is also within the traditional lands of the Coeur d'Alene tribe and member tribes from the Colville Confederated Tribes.
Before I turn over this event to Carrie, all of us here at the Spokane River Keepers want to extend our gratitude to the tribes of the Upper Columbia Basin, and in particular, the Spokane people. We would now like to open by welcoming Dr. Melody Wynn, a Spokane tribal member, to offer a land acknowledgement before our event commences.
Petsia, Lemlemch for asking for a land acknowledgement. It is good to know that you are willing to recognize and honor the ancestors and the tribe's ancestral territories that hold up the Spokane River and its tributaries and all life in, on, and around the river. We are the Scallyhoo, for which the river is named. Our relatives to the east are now called the Coeur d'Alene tribe, to the north the Kalispel, and to the west the Colville Confederated Tribes. All water is connected across time and space, so please join me in acknowledging all life that currently labors to restore the connectedness that facilitates our human response to the needs of water, land, and other elements, plants, animals, and each other. The Spokane River is life, and it has a spirit that currently struggles under the weight of decades of use, neglect, abuse, and extractivism. Thank you all for caring and your willingness to engage other perspectives and maybe even open yourselves to connect those perspectives with your own. Hisquest Melody Win, Jean Win Tluhin Tum, Jim Win Tluhin Mestum. Part of this acknowledgement is that this land, this place, was here long before we showed up, and it will be here long after us. We are here for a very short time, as time goes, and the work we do is fleeting, which keeps us humble. And the work is our responsibility, which keeps us acting and moving. Please be mindful of whose land this is, not by ownership, but by responsibility and through creation story, and educate yourselves of the history and her stories that have unfolded here, that are set here, and keep up the good work as you go your way today. Lemlemsh.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am so glad that you're here as we celebrate stories, beautiful art, and the living threads of connection that run through our communities and the Spokane River. Just this year, the Spokane River Keeper has evolved into a standalone organization serving the regional community from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho to the mouth where the Spokane meets the mighty Columbia. While we have provided river protection since 2010, this year we are rowing ahead as a brand new organization with a decade-old mission: to protect your river. I should note that with this new evolution, we have also a new board of directors featuring Patty Gates, our founding member, Josh Abel, our board chairman, and me as secretary. Plus, we are now affiliated with the International Waterkeeper Alliance, a worldwide organization with 350 waterkeeper member organizations charged with protecting the planet's waters. We wish to start off tonight by thanking our sponsors for making this evening and our work possible, including tonight's champion sponsor, Northwest Renewables. Thank you so much. We also want to acknowledge our guardian sponsors, Patty Gates and Merrimim Wealth Management, and the Neighborhood Alliance. Our advocate sponsors, which include Numerica, the Spokane Tribe, the Upper Columbia United Tribes, the Coeur d'Alene Tribe of Indians, Avista Utilities, Aquapor, Doma Coffee, and the Loeb Foundation. And our two promoter sponsors, Silver Bow Fly Shop and Dry-Fi Distillery. And last but certainly not least, we would like to thank the entire crew at Hamilton Studio for undertaking the production of this year's virtual Spokane River. This event would not be possible were it not for their enormous efforts and energy. Your dollars are powerful. Our hope is that when you shop or work in your community, that you support these businesses that make a difference in the life of our river and our environment. Northwest Renewables has stepped up and assumed a leadership role in the protection of your river. Please remember that our sponsors and the contribution that they make for our community and the river is important. Tonight, we bring you compelling stories that affirm that there are many effective and passionate keepers in our community up and down the watershed. People who are connected to the Spokane River in so many ways. Whether you're working to recover salmon to the Spokane or creating beautiful art that is inspired by a connection to the river, or you're a boater or an angler plying the waters for native trout, or writing novels that reflect the history of our river, its mystique and ever-presence runs through the heart of our land and our souls. We're here with all of you for a night that honors the Spokane River, honors the stories of keepers, honors our community and your support of the Spokane River Keeper program. I'm excited to introduce you to the beautiful art that is up for auction, and I encourage you to take a look at the plethora of great creative pieces that can be yours with a donation to the Spokane River Keeper program. I'm sure you're looking for an opportunity to donate, and here I'm going to give a little tutorial of how with our Event Gives platform. And so how about we do a quick practice round to get everyone comfortable? Great. Can I please get a $1 donation button on the screen? Thank you. And now you viewers at home should still see my face, but over my face you should see two buttons. One that says $1 and the other that says enter amount. Anyone at home who'd like some practice getting familiar with this tool should feel free to select the $1 donation button right now. Go ahead, see how it feels. One important thing to keep in mind throughout the evening while you're donating or bidding on auction items, in order to make sure your donation or bid goes through, you have to click and hold that button down. You'll know it's working when you see confetti. So again, let's all practice clicking and holding that $1 donation button. During our giving opportunities, if you'd like to donate an amount other than the one that you see on the screen, you absolutely can. All you have to do is type in your own number in that enter amount box, and you'll be prompted to type in any amount and hit submit. Again, you'll see confetti. Also, if at all during tonight's event you're experiencing any technical difficulty, feel free to reach out to our staff via the comment or chat function on the event browser. And if you're experiencing lagging of the video, don't refresh the whole page, but rather click on the camera icon in the upper right-hand corner of the video screen, and that should sort you out. Oh, looks like people are already working on it. We've got a couple fake donations from Cindy McCone, Jennifer Gates. Oh, Bjorn Otsby. Thank you guys for practicing with us. And if you feel like donating $1 at the end of the event, we won't hold it against you. Now, to tonight's storytellers. Jess Walters is a world-renowned author whose writing has won national awards and fresh recognition. Jess resides here in Spokane, a mere stone's throw from the Spokane River. Now, here's Jess, reading from his new book released yesterday, The Cold Millions.
Hi there, I'm Jess Walters. I'm a novelist here in Spokane and about as big a fan of the river as you can imagine. I was born right alongside it. I've lived almost my whole life along the Spokane River, and it is for me the lifeblood, the heart, everything that I think of this great city. The first place I take visitors is to the falls. My fiction winds its way through and around. And I hope as you're considering supporting what the River Keepers' amazing mission is, that you'll remember this is our climate issue. This is our environmental issue. The angrier you get at the world, the more you can take it out locally by helping clean up what is the jewel of Spokane. I'm going to read a little bit from my new novel, The Cold Millions, which is about as inspired by the Spokane River as you can imagine. I read newspaper articles, books, letters, academic journals, but a lot of my inspiration came from old postcards, and many of those old postcards were of the Spokane River, seeing how unchanged it is, how it's been forever the vessel and mechanism of the economy here, of everything we do. The part I'm going to read, this novel, The Cold Millions, is about two characters, Gig and Rye Dolan, adventuring vagrant brothers who arrive in Spokane in 1909, right at the beginning of the free speech riots involving the industrial workers of the world and the Spokane police and various armed Pinkertons and other goons. It's a kind of adventure story, but at the heart of it, it's also a story about social and economic justice and how 110 years later, we seem to be fighting many of the same battles. The section I'm going to read is from early in the novel, when the younger brother, Rye, decides to follow his brother Gig downtown for the very first free speech action being put on by the union. So I'm just going to pick up that morning and lead them across the river. Breakfast over, Rye pulled on his brother's work gloves and grabbed the rake from the side of the house. The wind swirled the leaves, and he worked grimly. Got 2 piles into the burn bin and lit them, but they were wet and smoldered instead of crackling. Rye watched the gray, soupy smoke curl into the sky. The wind must have been howling above the valley because the high clouds raced like migrating birds above the smoke, as if the world were flying by. "Damn it, Gig," he said again, and he set the rake against the house. Rye hurried through Little Italy in the Irish neighborhood, kids hanging off porches and running around big leafy yards. Normally, he'd take the river trail along the tracks to downtown, but today he felt like walking the blocks of houses, imagining he belonged. And he crossed Division Street into rows of brick apartments, then down Howard to the sprawling train station on Havermale Island, which split the river into 2 channels between the upper and lower falls. There was a trap door in the north deck of the Howard Street Bridge, and Rye stood watching a work crew dump a wagon load of tin cans and other garbage straight into the churning river below. A brown city soup of refuse, sewage, and train oil. People usually just threw their trash on the riverbanks, hoping the water would take it away. But by August, when the water got low, the stench was overpowering. So the city put trapdoors in the bridges where crews could dump garbage into the center of the river, easier for the current to flush downstream. At the Great Northern Depot, Rye crossed 4 sets of tracks, a big passenger train steaming beneath the 150-foot tower, the 4 clock faces informing Rye that it was 12 minutes before high noon, the time Gig said the union's action was to start. Across the island on Front Street, Rye didn't need a clock to tell him something was on. Dozens of people milled outside the Union Hall, more arriving all the time from flops, cafes, saloons. That depiction of the Spokane River as nothing more than a dump carried on for years for me growing up in Spokane, the way people turned their back on the river. We've turned the opposite direction, 180 degrees. We realize now that it is the place for recreation, for contemplation, for walks, for bike rides, for trails. And I hope this continues. I hope we keep cleaning this river up. I dream of one day seeing a salmon as far as the Spokane Falls. And I think every step we take, everything you do for the river keeper and for the Spokane River is a step in that direction and takes us back to the place that we arrived here and the place that we all want to be. Thank you for your support of the River Keeper, and we'll see you out on book tour.
Next up, we'll be hearing from Hemi James, who is a Coeur d'Alene tribal member and a member of the Tribal Council. With a spirit of collaboration and tenacity, the tribe has taken a leadership role in restoring habitat and fish populations for the future of salmon and the upper reaches of the Spokane River watershed. Let's hear from Hemi as he speaks about these visions for the river's future.
My name is Hemi James. I am a member of the Coeur d'Alene tribe, and I currently sit on the Coeur d'Alene Tribal Council. The Spokane River itself has always been to my people and myself our connection to the big water of the ocean. That is our main flow to the main artery of this region, the Columbia River. That's how we got our salmon. Our social endeavors were focused around was when the fish came back, that's when we got to see our relatives that we hadn't seen in a few months. Marriages were made. Political deals were done, and all at the same time while gathering our food that would get us through the winter. Not only did we take what we needed from Spokane River system, but we also gave. Every drop of water that comes from the current Coeur d'Alene Indian Reservation makes its way to the Spokane River, whether that is through our lake into the Spokane River itself or Latah Creek down, which dumps into the Spokane right below the falls. That's our contribution to this entire region. Every group of people has that certain connection that they give to this river system. It's something that not only as a tribal entity, but as a tribal people, but everyone in this region should know just how important of a lifeblood it is to take from and to give to. It's what is at the very essence of the life of this beautiful, beautiful place that we live in. A lot of us that have been here for most of our lives, sometimes it gets out of our mind. We like to talk about it, but we don't go out and see it as much as we should. Just remember how lucky we are to live on a system like this. And I hope that all involved would take the personal responsibility of trying to ensure that that stays the way it's supposed to, whether it's going out and helping with the river keepers to go pick up some litter on those days that they go out, whether it's to take it upon yourself in your individual life to recycle a little bit, little tiny things that we can do that can ensure that our area is going to stay what it, not only stay what it is, but come close to getting back to what it was once upon a time before we as the human race put stains on it. Come see what the work that we're doing way up in the headwaters of Latah Creek. And show, rather than tell you how important it is to us, come look and come see how important it is. All the hundreds and thousands of man hours we put into trying to restore it. I would encourage anyone to come visit my homeland and see what it means to us.
Next, we have Ellen Picken, who is an artist and entrepreneur. Her visual and verbal art perfectly pins her love of the river and of nature to her creative spirit.
My best friend calls me Trout. To play in the current, to swim and laugh despite the danger, my parents taught me to understand the water's variations and to know the reach of my own abilities. To be happy with the gifts of the river, I must know both it and myself. The water need know nothing of me to give or take. It seems imbalanced, but only if I see the river as something apart from myself. To know who I am is to know that I am shaped by my relationships and reactions to this earth. Who am I without challenges to define my character? Who am I without the resources that have supported my life? Who would I be if not for the peaceful respite of the flowing water? Yet, how have I affected the well-being of the river that so shaped me? That is where the balance is found. The more I learn from the river, the air, the forest, my neighbors, the more encompassing this I becomes. Cleaning the water is more than a physical restoration, it's a spiritual restoration. Working together to accomplish this, we deepen our relationships, expand our idea of self, and create a better world for others to grow from. The question of, what does life mean, goes away because we experience living.
The next set of storytellers tonight that further connect us to our river come from personal views of keepers. Dr. Michelle is the executive director of the Upper Columbia United Tribes, and Dr. has worked tirelessly, leading the United Tribes' vision of returning Chinook salmon to the Upper Columbia River. Listen in as he puts the vision in his own words.
Hi, my name's Dr. Michelle. I'm a citizen of the Cobble Tribe, Arrow Lakes Knife's descendant. Our people range from Kettle Falls up into Revelstoke, Canada. So I'm currently the executive director for the Upper Columbia United Tribes. UCUT is the Coeur d'Alene Tribe, the Cobble Tribe, the Kalispel Tribe, the Kootenai Tribe of Idaho, and the Spokane Tribe of Indians. We work for nearly 15,000 tribal citizens. We manage 2 million acres of tribal lands and influence nearly 14 million acres of Aboriginal territories. The UCUT mission statement is to unite the Upper Columbia River tribes for the protection, preservation, and enhancement of treaty, executive order rights, sovereignty, culture, fish, water, wildlife, habitat, and other issues of interest and concern through a structured process of cooperation and coordination for the benefit of all people. Our mission statement is unique in that I think it talks about us as tribal people, and a lot of times these issues are talked about as tribal issues, and in truth they're all of our issues, and it's going to take all of us to correct some of these historic wrongs. One of the big projects UCUT has taken on is the returning the salmon home. With the construction of Cooley Dam, it permanently blocked our salmon. We've been without those for nearly 80 years. So the Upper Columbia United Tribes have taken a phased approach to bringing the salmon home. We're currently doing phase 2 of that process, where we're looking at feasibility studies, new technologies on how to bring the salmon home, habitat studies. We've actually had some cultural releases. We've released fish above Chief Joe and Grand Coulee. First time that those waters have seen salmon in 80 years, and the purpose of that was to reconnect the fish to the waters and the people to the salmon. And it was very moving and inspirational to see the salmon swimming in the river for the first time in 80 years. And it's motivation to continue that process. So one of the main tributaries to the Columbia River is the Spokane River. And for at least 9,000 years during 60 days each summer, 1,000 to 1,400 salmon were harvested at Little Falls on the Spokane River, and 1,000 a day were harvested at the Little Spokane River, and 1,000 a day at Spokane Falls. If passage is provided at Grand Coulee, our study of potential habitat and spawner capacity shows the Upper Columbia could support anywhere from 80,000 to 800,000 adult spawners, with the Spokane River accounting for a portion of that. So 80 years is long enough without our salmon. It's time to bring them home. We have the technology, we have the capacity. The studies show that the habitat's there. The salmon have shown that they still have that desire to make it home. When we had those cultural releases, there was a concern about fallback rates and where those salmon would go when they were released above Chief Joe and Grand Coulee. And 95% of those salmon went upriver before they came back down. So that desire, those instincts to make it back to the spawning grounds in Canada is still there. And it's our responsibility to provide them that opportunity. And in providing that opportunity, we need a grassroots approach. We need to start from the bottom up. We need to talk to our local county commissioners, governors, mayors, our state representatives, and remind the congressionals that this is a priority and we need to make it happen. Everything's lined up and shows that it's feasible, and as tribes, it's our responsibility to look out for those future generations, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. It's for those future generations, those folks that we haven't met yet, and it's very important, again, to all of us. The economic benefits, the cultural benefits, just the thought of bringing those salmon home should motivate us all to make this happen. So in closing, we'd like to thank the River Keepers for this opportunity to talk about these important issues that impact all of us.
Tonight we also have the pleasure of hearing from Bob Bartlett, a retired Eastern Washington University professor, storyteller, and fisherman. Bob ruminates on his long history with rivers and his view of the importance of the Spokane River in our community.
Hi, my name is Bob Bartlett. I'm the proud second son of Francis and the late Walter Taylor Bartlett Sr., and the proud second grandson of John and Ethel Whedon and Frank and Bertha Lee Bartlett. I come from a long line of river people, born and raised on the same river as my father, his grandfather, and his great-grandfather. Now, years removed, the Spokane River has become my home water for 30 years. The Spokane River was love at first sight. I love it, I fish it, and I've been concerned about its health for 30 years. I find the Spokane River not to be the most pristine river I've ever known. Actually, I find it to be one of the most abused rivers I've ever known. That said, the Spokane is one of the most resilient and life-giving rivers I have ever known. My wife and I have 4 adult children. And we have 6 grandchildren whose home water is the Spokane River. So my promise to my children, my grandchildren, my promise to you is that I will continue to be an advocate, to be a voice for the Spokane River. It needs us more now than ever before. So I ask that you become a voice, an advocate for our river, and to support the work of our river keeper. Be active, be involved as you can be, because I promise that I will do my part. So thanks for being with us this evening. It's been my pleasure to be a part of it. No voice is too small, no time is too small, and no money is too small. So thank you very much. I am Bob Bartlett. I am a keeper.
River warrior Jesse Raposa has found personal healing and recovery from the Spokane River. Working with riverkeeper Jim Tuck and his mom and family, his story is one of personal power and speaks to the way our river contributes to personal journeys.
Hi, my name is Jesse Raposa. I'm down here at the Spokane River. It's a very beautiful day. I'm down here with a mutual acquaintance I've gained through this river, Jim Tuck. He asked me if I could share parts of my story, particularly how I can connect and relate to the river, or how it's important to me. I did do some thinking on that, and there is a lot of ways that I do connect to this river, but the biggest part of my story, the most important part I should say, the river has helped me get my life back, essentially. I was a heroin and methamphetamine addict for over 5 years. I never thought I would see the other side of that. It was a terrifying time in my life. I was homeless. I didn't have hope for much. The people in my life were just there to use. And when I finally found sobriety, the only healthy thing that has filled that in, that life that I had to shed, which was everything from people to things to habits, I found healing in this river. We were down here yesterday cleaning up, and something that my mom said really resonated with me. She's also an addict. She's clean now too. And she said that this place has done something for her that she wasn't able to do for herself. And she explained it in a way that she wanted to do something for the river that the river couldn't do for itself. And I think that that's really important to pay that back. And I see that now. You know, I want nothing more than to give healing back to this place that has brought nothing but healing for me. And even though that's only one, be it significant chunk of how I relate to this place, it's the biggest one. And I could go on other ways that it's helped me find healing, but today when I'm asked how I connect to this river, that's really what comes to mind, is that this place has given me something healthy to fill in where there was nothing but negative hopelessness.
Heather Hodgson, founder of Spokane Women on the Fly, is a nationally known angler and Instagram influencer. Tonight, she'll be sharing her story of connection through the sport of fly fishing on the Spokane River.
Hi, my name is Heather Hodgson, and I am a river keeper. I moved to Spokane 21 years ago, and about 8 years ago, I was introduced to the best urban fishery in the United States, and I'm so happy to be standing on the rocks and on the riverbank right here. We have wild red band trout. They are big, they are feisty, and they are wild and native, which is so cool to think that I am fishing in my city for these big, beautiful trout. The public access has only gotten better. And that's because of you, because of me, because of this incredible in Spokane community. So one of the great things that we've done is we've raised money to help add, and we're actually at the boat launch right now. So we have earned and raised money to actually increase and make all of the access better. So it's more accessible. This isn't just a fly fishing river. This is a river where you can float on an inner tube, where you can whitewater raft. We have some great rapids, by the way, and where you can swim, where you can just enjoy. You can sit by the river on the rocks, listen to the water, and just de-stress. I just feel so blessed to live in this incredible city that offers so much to so many people, and this is home. I love where I live. One of my main focuses in Spokane is community, and I feel that the river really brings everybody together. Whether you're an elitist runner and you're trying to get the best pace, whether you're a hiker, you're a cyclist, you're an angler, conventional and or fly, we're all equal on the water. And that's what this river does. This river is the pulse of Spokane City. We want to be stewards for this river, and we want to make this better and more accessible to everybody.
The Salish School of Spokane is a valued partner in the effort to celebrate and protect the river. Here at River Keepers, we recognize the ancient connection of the first river keepers, native people of the Upper Columbia Plateau, and the life of the rivers. Native languages and interior Salish holds an intimate relationship with our rivers and what we see as essential if we're to come back into harmony with the river and its life. We love the work of the Salish School of Spokane, so please enjoy this language lesson on the river and a most important resident in our river, the red band trout.
Why, isquistin quilila, kin upingsul katli spinkt utkin, isitchmat mile oskahat and salchin simmat mountain. Hello, my name is Mireya. I am 13 years old and I am a student at Salish School, Spokane.
Why, isquis kakalakin, utkin upingsul chokspint, kin sitchmat mile oskahat and salchin simmat mountain. Hello, my name is Kale. I'm 15 years old and I'm a student at the Salish School of Spokane.
Today, we're going to teach you 2 Colville Salish words and use them in a sentence.
Our first Colville Salish word is river. Satit, satit, satit. Let's use it in a sentence. I'm going to go to the river. Kings hoya ko satit. Kings hoya ko satit. Kings hoya ko satit.
Our second Salish word is trout. Hohumina, hohumina, hohumina. Let's use it in a sentence. I saw the trout. Weekend I hohumina. Weekend I hohumina. Weekend I hohumina.
Thanks for letting us share our language with you.
Limlam.
I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as I did. And now I would like to turn the mic over to Spokane River Keepers Executive Director, Jerry White.
The beginning is with the water. As Hemi James noted, our water comes from high in the watershed, and then it runs all the way down to the Columbia River. It's out there running as we speak. It runs just down the bank to the south of where I'm sitting right now. But it also runs through the heart and soul of our communities. This project, the Spokane River Keeper, is about the river. It's about the community as well, and it's also about the stories that run throughout the river and bring us to this moment where we are here together to support the work of protecting our community treasure. In our office and from our boat, we like to say that it's your river and we protect it. So what does protecting a river look like? Well, we have 4 main methods. We use advocacy, education, collaboration, and when and where we need, we use litigation. We're an organization of 2 folks who do that work. And I would like to now introduce one of our staff, Jewel Schultz.
Hello there, my name is Jewel Schultz. I'm Technical Director for the Spokane River Keeper, and I lead our river cleanup program. I'm also responsible for water quality science. The Spokane River Keeper is a unique program, as we have a year-round presence on the river. We have 3 boats, the Red Band, the Blue Heron, and a canoe for use on the Little Spokane River and Hangman Creek. Because of this presence, we know the river intimately. Our homeless outreach program is one of our most unique efforts on the river. We float Spokane Neighborhood Action Program and WSU School of Medicine Street Medicine Program down the river to make contact with those living on the banks of the Spokane. This year, I worked with over 400 volunteers to pick up nearly 13,000 pounds of riverside litter. Throughout the COVID-19 crisis, we partnered with the Spokane River Forum to run a safe, socially distanced volunteer effort called Get Up and Get Out for Your River. We partnered with Spokane Parks and Recreation and assured that TJ Meenock River Access Point was clean, safe, and open throughout the busy summer season. Finally, in partnership with the Salish School of Spokane and the Spokane Falls chapter of Trout Unlimited, we continue to run a volunteer science program collecting water quality samples that gave us defensible data and information on temperature and sediment pollution in the river. One of my most important functions is to help our team respond to the many policy challenges that depend on our understanding and interpretation of water quality science.
Thank you very much, Jewel. And what I'd like to do now is explain a little bit about my work. So I spend a lot of time with citizens, with scientists, lawyers, and leaders in the environmental movement, leaders in the community. My mandate is to connect community experts and officials for the benefit of the river. I work with agency directors, tribal leaders, in the hope of changing the world for the better. For example, our office led the water advocacy community across the state of Washington with other water keepers in the resistance to the approval of variances for toxic pollution. We led the charge with a lawsuit against the EPA over the Hangman Creek cleanup, and that lawsuit created the synergies that are now at work to continue cleaning up Hangman Creek for the future of trout and salmon. We're joined in litigation with Waterkeepers of Washington and the Makah Tribe of Indians against the rollback of standards for toxic pollution in all of Washington State's waterways. We currently sit on the Spokane Water Conservation Work Group, advocating for real water management in our city that will help protect river flows into the 21st century. As always, we comment on policy change, organize river constituents for important hearings, and we give the community guidance on complex legal and policy issues. That's what I'm here for, is to be a voice for you and a voice for the river itself. Finally, I lead our team alongside the direction of an incredible board of directors and volunteers, a small but mighty team that's proved and provided amazing support and sustenance to our organization in this very critical period of our new independence. So it's a privilege for me to play this role with this band of waterkeepers from the community that I care so much about. But having said that, honoring the imaginative life of the river is also an essential part of this work. Tonight is really about the many stories and the artistic creativity that have been inspired by your Spokane River. We choose to deliberately highlight the work of the Upper Columbia tribes and their connections to the salmon and the recovery efforts that they lead. We deliberately ask to hear interior Salish spoken as a language, the once and future tongue that has told so many river stories. So it's an honor for me to guide this organization into the future that protects a vibrant, healthy river and the beautiful stories and confluences it will inspire for future generations. After all, they're your stories. For you out there are the keepers.
Thank you, Jerry. Now, I'd like you all to locate the donate button now on your screen and remember that your support is necessary to give your river a voice of protection when and where it matters. Now I'd like to introduce back Heather Hodgson again with this critical message of river protection.
Hi, I'm Heather Hodgson, and I'm founder of Spokane Women on the Fly. I teach at Silverbow Fly Shop, and I'm also on the board for the Spokane Falls Trout Unlimited chapter. Today, I'm here to reflect on the life of our river. We invite you to reflect on all that it brings to your community and their stories along its 111-mile journey. If you walk your dog, ride your bike, fish in its waters, swim, float, or boat, or perhaps you own a business that benefits from the quality of life the river gives to your employees' well-being here in the Spokane River watershed. Please know that today we can give back to the river we draw so much from. Right now, we can contribute to its protection. Please find the donate button on your screen. Today, our fundraising goal is $30,000. If you can give $5,000, you will have paid for a new raft. To date, the Spokane River Keeper has used the raft for 10 years, and they have pulled tons of garbage out of the river. It needs to be replaced this year. If you can give $2,000, that will pay for 7 trips of collecting water samples with the Spokane Salish Schools. $1,000, you will have financed a new floor and oars for the Spokane River Keeper raft.
I'm so in awe of your generosity tonight and your patience. Thank you, Mary. Mary has donated $1,000 to the Spokane River Keeper tonight. Thank you. So many folks. Oh my goodness. Seeing these numbers roll in. Barbara and Bill donated $500 to the River Keeper. Josh is coming in with $250. Oh, Kara with $500. And Jillian with $800. And so many more. Thank you guys so much, and we've got another video from Heather.
$500 will purchase a new turbidometer to help us collect legally defensible pollution data from Hangman Creek. $100 will get volunteers on the water to pick up garbage. $50 will purchase a box of litter bags.
And thank you again. All of these donations are really what make our work possible. And I can't stop thinking about the line that Jesse Raposa had in his video when he talks about the healing that the river has given to him and so many others in our community. And now is really our chance to be activists, like Bob Bartlett said, for our river, and provide some healing back. And we're seeing so many of you doing that tonight, live, and it is incredible. We're seeing Aaron donated $100 to the Spokane River Keeper. We've got another Josh at $50. And I think we've got one more video from Heather.
$25 will purchase 100 gloves for all volunteers. And please remember, no donation is too small. It supports the Spokane River Keeper and the Spokane River, as well as this incredible community. We really appreciate you giving back to the Spokane River, and giving back to nature. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. We got an $1,000 donation from Heidi, and that means the world to us. It's events like these that we are able to highlight the amazing individuals in our community who care about the river, who care about the future of the river and what that means for generations to come. Because it is no longer the abused river that it once was. And now we can really show the gem and jewel that it is in Spokane. Thank you to all of the donations tonight, and thank you so much for all of your contributions. Also, please do visit the silent auction with its beautiful art and books and experiences, with all of the proceeds also going to the Spokane River Keeper program. The auction is actually open for a while. It closes at 5 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday, November 4th. So for those of you registered and bidding, you will continue to receive text messages up until the final few minutes to ensure that you're informed about your bidding status. So good luck, bidders, and I want to throw out a couple more thank yous to some bidders that are throwing in there last minute with their donations. Wayne and Sean, thank you so much for your donations of $200 and $100. Thank you. And again, to complete your purchases and your donation tonight, you'll see a button with 3 lines at the top right of your screen, and that will take you to your cart to enter your payment information. And we really appreciate your presence here tonight. We wish you a happy and hopeful holiday season, and we look forward to the time when we will once again shake hands and hug and gather together in person and out loud. And so as one final thank you, we leave you to enjoy the Salmon song, sung by the 3rd and 4th graders at the Salish School of Spokane.
In chow cheap, kickini,
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 nax asil catleys.
kickini, kickini, kackini, kickini, 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 quackini. Why can we come to kickini? Why can we come to kickini? Why can we come to
Behind me is your river.
I'm a lifetime Spokaneite who remembers when our river was designated as toxic.
And in our community, the Spokane River is central to our environment.
I use the river for recreation, for its inherent beauty.
We love the Spokane River because it means spending time with family and friends.
We love the Spokane River as a place to run by and to play in.
I'm out here enjoying beautiful Riverside State Park today.
It is a source of our drinking water and a really fun place to play.
River keepers, we're river warriors.
That's why I'm a keeper.
I'm a keeper.
I am a keeper.
I'm a keeper too.
I'm L.R. Montgomery. I'm an artist. I paint the river, and I'm a keeper too.
I'm Heather Hodgson, and I'm a keeper.
I'm Tom Salberg, and I'm a keeper.
The Coeur d'Alene tribe, as well as myself, are river keepers.
Hi, I'm Deanna Camp. I'm an advisor to the Spokane River Keeper Board, and I'm a keeper.
I'm Bart Hagan. I'm a keeper.
I'm Jim Tuck, and I am a river keeper. Yeah!
We're the Cosbys, and we're keepers.
And we are both keepers too.
Are you a keeper?